So this morning we want to look at when Uncle Coro-Coro came to town by Akan Essien, beginning with the plot, structure of the work. As I said in our last class, we had examined the author's background to the text, the synopsis of this story, and today we want to look at the plot of the work. So, when Uncle Coro-Coro came to town, as a linear plot structure. If you don't call it linear plot structure, you call it chronological plot structure. You call it chronological plot. That's a linear plot structure. Or chronological plot structure. This means that the events told in the story, in the work, proceed from the beginning to the end in the order of occurrence. The events are ordered in such a way that the first event comes first and the last event comes last. So the events are arranged in such a way that they proceed from the beginning to the end. So in this play, the events are arranged in the order of occurrence from the beginning to the end. So the play begins with the information that Uncle Coro-Coro will be coming to town. It ends when the people confront the officials in the whereabouts of Uncle Coro-Coro, as well as the failed promises to the people. So if you're asked about the plot of the work, you say it is chronological. Or you can say it is linear. You can say it is organic. Let's look at the structure and organization of the play. Structure and organization of the play. Structure and organization of Akan Essien when Uncle Coro-Coro came to town. When Uncle Coro-Coro came to town, is organized in 5 movements. It's organized in 5 movements. That is, in other words, you can say it has 5 acts. 5 acts. But the author does not want to use acts. The author uses movements. So 5 movements. So you have movement 1 for Act 1, movement 2 for Act 2, and so on and so forth, till movement 5. So in movement 1, we have the first town hall meeting. During this town hall meeting, government man who represents the politician in the play announces to the people that a great visitor is coming to meet them from abroad. And the name of the visitor is Uncle Coro-Coro. So, Coro-Coro is a metaphor for COVID-19 pandemic. Coro-Coro is a metaphor for the COVID-19 pandemic, which we experienced in 2020 in Nigeria. Coro-Coro is a metaphor, right? For the COVID-19 pandemic. We experienced the 2020 spread all around the world, including Nigeria. But because Akan Essien is writing a comedy, he renders it in ways that are pleasant and in ways that are humorous, just to make us laugh. So, because the pandemic occurs in a corrupt space, corrupt political space, the pandemic brings out the true nature of the inhabitants of that place. That is what the essential conditions, that's what essential conditions can do to human beings. It brings out the real part of the human nature. Because when things are normal, in normal society, when things are going well, people can take kindness, holiness, people can take goodness, right? But when they are placed in survival situations, that's when their real nature comes out. If they are kind in that kind of situation, that means they are really kind. Because survival situations bring out the human nature, the real aspect of the human nature. And so the COVID-19 exposed the corruption that's inherent in the Nigerian society. It makes everyone to really come out and behave as who they are. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the government really showed that they do not care about the people. They only care about their selfish interests. Because while the people were locked in, they didn't give them food. You cannot go to the farm, you cannot go to the market, and yet the government expects you to stay in the house and still survive. So you tell people to stay at home, but you don't make provision. Now they are going to survive in the house. So it simply shows the insensitivity of our leaders. Because there was no other time they would have shown that they care for the people than that time. And so how much more now that everybody is free to go there? We just say you have your own business. You can go to work, so we don't really care. Compared to how the situation was handled in other parts of the world where government is seen to be responsive to the needs of the people. And it also showed how disorganized our society is, how we lack strategy, how our leaders cannot think ahead, how backward we are in terms of development. That's what the COVID-19 pandemic revealed about society. And it's only in moments like that that you understand the kind of society that you are living in. It's a terrible, backward space, where the leaders do not know their left from their right, except in things that concern their well-being themselves. So, it is not only the government that is corrupt. The people are also corrupt. And that is the point that we need to note about this drama. Because Akan Essien appears to be saying that the people deserve the kind of leaders that are elected to represent. People deserve the kind of leaders that are elected to represent them because they're elected themselves to represent them. Because if a good person comes out and says, elect me, they will not. They will elect the person that will bribe them to be elected. So the vicious cycle continues. Somebody comes out and says, I want to go for election, they will laugh. They say, you don't have money. So the other person that brings money and gives to them, they will now break that one. So the person goes there for his own, to make his money that he already spent. Has no vision for the people. And so the people are like the politicians. They're also looking for that share. So the people are culpable in the underdevelopment of society. People are culpable in the underdevelopment of society. People are culpable in the underdevelopment of society. So everyone plays a part. They are looking for how they can benefit from the tragedy. How they can benefit from the visit of Coro-Coro, which does not speak well of the characters in that drama. Because it speaks of people who want to profit from the tragedy that befall society. Want to profit from the pain, the tragedies. Every situation, you need to want to see how they can gain from it. So in movement 2, because in movement 1, the meeting ends in disarray because government man, the chemist, and the narrator are quarreling over contracts. How they are going to share the contracts. And the people now get to see how corrupt they are, and so the people chase them away. The people chase them away. And so, when this happens, they now, in movement 2, meet in a secret room to reorganize themselves. Want to reorganize themselves, resolve their differences, agree on a sharing formula so that they can come out and present a united front before the people. We must not disgrace ourselves before the people again. Let's agree on a sharing formula within us here. That's what happens in movement 2 in Uncle Coro-Coro, when Uncle Coro-Coro came to town. Okay? In movement 3, we have the second town hall meeting. Movement 3, we have a second town hall meeting. So in this second town hall meeting, they present the proposal for Uncle Coro-Coro came to town to the people, convince the people to sign MOU. After lying to them that they will give some of them contracts when they have already shared the contract among themselves in a secret place of the Most High. Understand? So whatever promises they make to the people are lies. Just to get the people to sign the MOU for the Uncle Coro-Coro's visit. They already shared the real contract among themselves. Whatever promises they make to the people, they know that they're not going to fulfill it. Alright? And that's the truth, because politicians deceive the people most of the time. So, in movement 4, the penultimate movement, Uncle Coro-Coro has come to town. At least that's what they announced to the people through the town crier, which represents the media houses, the journalists and all of that. So we know that Uncle Coro-Coro has come to town because everybody has been asked to stay low. The streets are, shops are closed. There's no school. Right? But we don't really see Coro-Coro there, Coro-Coro. Right? It's just what the town crier tells us. Every day the town crier will come and announce, Uncle Coro-Coro is here. Then Uncle Coro-Coro is going there. After the people are saying they don't know whether it is true or not. Because Uncle Coro-Coro is going to the stream. Don't come out, stay at home. How do we know whether that's true or not? Okay? So the people stay at home, but they don't see the promises the government made to them. And they don't even see the government again. Government man is nowhere to be found. The chemist is nowhere to be found. Or in a quiet mansion, in a big mansion somewhere, enjoying themselves. They are free to move about, but the people are not free to move about. But the people have been asked to stay at home. Only the gods can now move around in the land. Right? That's the chemist, the narrator, the government man. Okay? And third citizen that decided to go and join them when hunger nearly killed him. Right? So that shows the polarization of society into the privileged on the one hand and the less privileged on the others. The privileged are the elite members of society and the highly placed members of society. There is no law that controls them. Whenever they make a law, they give them exception. Make them an exception. Right? That's why, even though they say, everybody stay at home, Uncle Coro-Coro has come. They don't stay at home. They have a pass to move around, go wherever they want to go to. Nobody will block them. Those are the gods. Okay? But if the ordinary doesn't want to move out, no beats, and arrest the person. For disobeying Uncle Coro-Coro's order. Okay? So that pandemic exposed what we already know about the dysfunctionality of our society, the dysfunctional system that we operate in Nigerian society. So, a government that asks people to stay at home but does not provide for them, is that one even a government? You make no provision for how the people are going to survive, but you still ask them to stay at home. Shows that you are crazy. and you don't have sense. Because if you ask people to stay at home, that means morning you give them breakfast, afternoon you give them lunch, and in the evening you give them dinner. Right? So when the people are agitated, hungry, frustrated, they decide to confront town crier, because it's the only town crier that they see. And town crier now collects bribe in order to show them where the government officials are hiding. Collects bribe, 5 bags of money. And that's when the people are able to confront the government officials in their secret hideout where they're enjoying, while the others are suffering in the COVID-19 era. In movement 5. Okay, so we move from there. We want to talk about the setting of the work. There is no specific place name that is mentioned in the play. But there are indicators that the play is set in the Nigeria of contemporary times. During the COVID-19 era, Nigeria of contemporary times, or Akwa Ibom of contemporary times, because we have some indigenous words that are being used there, that are Ibibio words. So that will help us situate the work in the Akwa Ibom of contemporary times, around 2020. The work is set in 2020, and so the work is set in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the use of pidgin and Ibibio suggests Nigerian and Akwa Ibom setting. The use of pidgin and Ibibio suggests Akwa Ibom setting. Themes. 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 One of the themes in this play is official corruption. Official corruption. It is seen in the dramatization of the actions of characters like government man, who represents a politician, the chemist, who represents medical doctors and medical personnel, and narrator, who represents the academia. They are struggling over government contracts. Poor leadership and dysfunctional social system is another theme. Poor leadership, dysfunctional social system is another theme in the work. So, this is seen